Hello everybody, welcome to the United States of America, welcome to Texas, and welcome to Austin, a city that prides itself on being weird, and a liberal attitude to life is visible everywhere. A lot of major companies have their headquarters here, including Whole Foods Market and Dell. Nearly 1 million Austinites in town and 2 million inhabitants in the larger Austin area. Although high-rise towers have only been in this area since the early 2000s, and we're at a city sporting facility that was opened as recently as 2012.
We're here at the Circuit of the Americas for the second time in the 24-hour series history, and we're here for the last race, the final race of the 2018 season, the last race of the Champion of the Continents Championship this season. And we're happy to have a full grid of GT cars here in COTA for a second time, a mix of European and American teams.
The 24-hour series has a worldwide reputation for famous endurance races at classic tracks, including 24 Hours of Barcelona and 24 Hours at Dubai. Now, this is the second time that the event has been put on here in Austin, so some of the American teams now know what to expect.
Well, we raced here last year and we did quite well. We finished first in the class. We love coming here. It's a great circuit. It's a great event, and the organisers put on a great event for everybody here. We just can't wait to keep coming again and again.
It's fun, you know. You always learn something in a 24-hour race. The night always brings unknown things, but you adapt to that, and we learned a lot about being consistent and reliable and making sure that we don't make any mistakes and don't have any mechanical failures, and that ultimately makes a big difference, not just raw speed, but we're doing okay in that department too, from what I'm hearing.
It's a very different series. It's fun to have opportunity to race with teams from all around the world, which is exciting, especially for the American teams who've not been exposed to a lot of the European teams. And so it's fun from that standpoint. Also, the rule package is a bit different, and for example, the refueling rule is completely different from what we're used to. But it's all good, and understand the reasons for the rule differences. So it's fun. It's interesting. Yeah.
There's a lot of track time for the competitors, including free practice, night practice, and the qualifying session.
Yesterday in qualifying, we could already see just how close the gaps in performance were in all of the GT classes, and we're looking forward for this to continue throughout the race.
Each of the classes has their own pole sitter. The Rentec 890 has the GT4 pole.
We were thrilled. We weren't expecting it. We went out at the very end and made a few little minor adjustments and thought we could do a little bit better, and we did a lot better than we expected. So it was nice to come down and be on pole at the end of the day.
Yeah, we had a good qualifying run. Qualified first in class. Just happy to be here with Wright Motorsports, the team that I've been with for the last 6 years, and it's nice to be out here with all the customers. And hopefully we've set up for a good race.
Yeah, the qualification was a little bit difficult, I think. We were standing the whole time on P1. And in the end, the Lamera goes in front of us with 1/10. So yeah, not happy with the result, but the race is long.
What Baz didn't know is that the Lamera was assessed a penalty for exceeding track limits on its fastest lap, so the 114 BMW would start as SP2 pole sitter. The number 2 car, second overall, incurred the same penalty, so their teammates in third place were moved forward and took the A6 Pro pole.
It was good. I mean, we were a bit unfortunate with traffic on both peak laps of the tires. We had some traffic, so nothing you can do about that. Still managed to get a decent lap in, so P3. But our teammates had a 5 grid place penalty. So in the end, for a team point of view, it worked out really well because they were ahead of us, and obviously that saved them sort of one spot team-wise. So yeah, I mean, can't complain. Front row. Now we see what we can do in the race.
Fastest lap overall was set by the number 620 A6 ARM Aston Martin from ARM Motorsport.
Yeah, we got lucky with a bit of space, sort of middle to the end of the session, and yeah, Marvin got a really good clean lap, and yeah, just put his lap together and did a fantastic job, and yeah, so yeah, we're super happy to be at the front.
As in any 24-hour race, pole position is no real advantage. does give a real sense of pride.
Oh yeah, it's super exciting. You know, we're all racers at heart in the team, and you know, we always want to be at the front, and we want to be winning. So yeah, there's adrenaline's pumping, and yeah, the qualifying format for the Creventic's really good fun, and it's quite intense with 45 minutes, and we can put quite a few sets of new tyres. It's a really good experience.
Warm-up laps underway, 2 cars not able to make the starting grid. They were allowed to leave the pit lane when everyone else had started the formation laps. So, what can we expect for the race?
Especially in the dark, it's going to be a challenge for all teams and drivers to keep their cars running, to beat this circuit, to beat themselves, to beat others, and after all, have a good time here.
Just to try to stay clean, be safe, make sure we don't have any mechanical problems or altercations, and run it for the long term, not the short term. That's the plan.
Well, hopefully we can win the class, but I think more than that, we can. We're hoping to kind of work ourselves into the top 10 here and get mixed in with the GT3 cars.
The majority of the field are on their warm-up laps. During the grid walk, Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus team noticed an issue with their number 49 car during the grid walk, so they're back in the pits.
Yeah, we arrived on the grid and we took a look at the brake discs, and there were some issues with one brake disc in the front, and so we preferred to substitute before starting on the race because the time loss was very little starting from the pit lane, and we decided to be on the safe side and substitute immediately before the starting.
Another team with issues, the number 58 in the pit lane. The rest of the field about to start the Hankook 24 Hours of COTA. The Stars and Stripes get the race underway as the cars accelerate and head uphill towards the first corner. Respect from all the drivers towards their competitors at the early stages. No collisions, and only the car collection number 34 goes outside the track limits. But let's get back to the pits and see what the issue is with the number 58 VDS.
After the second warming lap, we had a problem with the pedal, brake pedal. Long pedal, so I decided to come in and we fix it. Well, we lose 5 laps, but it's not a problem. It's 24 hours.
A little further back, and after an early Code 60, the touring cars in the TCE series have also started their race. Circuit of the Americas is a wide track, and even amidst battling TCEs, the GT entries can still find enough space to have their own scraps too. 58 VDS now back on track, whilst another Belgian entrant comes into the pit lane.
Everything went well, free practice, qualifying, but we started the race on a drive shaft. I made the noise, the driver heard it, he said, yeah, what can I do? Just continue, and then it broke after 4 or 5 laps. So we put it in, lost 30 minutes, put a new one in, and now it's going well. I saw now that the rubber where the grease in is was broken. So yeah, it's just bad luck.
On track, Brett Strom in the 113 BMW comes to a standstill. However, the RHC Jorgensen Strom car does restart and rejoin the race, losing just 30 seconds. Still in the lead, the Aston Martin number 620.
Yeah, we started from pole position. We could keep the lead for, let's say, half of the first stint, which was quite good. Cars feeling good out there. And, well, not easy to handle it, but we're still pushing and trying, well, to score a good position towards the end of the race.
Lucas Stoltz, the number 2 Black Falcon, started from 7th, but overtakes the 620 and claims the overall lead.
We had a problem with the transmission, so I could come back. Half of lap, the transmission broke, and then I had to be pulled by the truck to come back in the garage. So it's a long distance race. Our car quite new, so we have sometimes some difficult with some trouble, but it's a very difficult track too, so we hope to now to be out of all problem to finish our race.
Lucas Stoltz, the leader, saw the car stranded at the side of the track and correctly anticipated there would be a Code 60.
Yeah, we hit it perfectly, which is a bit of luck. If it would have come out 10 seconds earlier, we could have only picked up half the fuel. Now we could do full fuel. So definitely that helped. But yeah, sometimes you need to have the luck. I've had this go against me so many times in the past. in especially Dubai, where we were leading and we lost the lead because of it. So finally we gained a lot there, and hopefully we can keep that.
And more teams shared that look.
Yeah, by good luck, Charles brought the car in. As I was rolling to the fuel station, I saw the code 60 flags come out, which means we can take a full fuel load. So that was very advantageous for us.
After all the pit stops, the different strategies and a little luck is reflected on the leaderboard.
I got in and I actually got a full lap ahead of the second place car in the ranking. So yeah, from then on we had a good lead, and it's great, but anything can happen. If you have a code 60 at the wrong moment, then everything can be turned around, so we cannot relax.
After the fuel step went out, was early in traffic, finally got settled down to a pace. We dropped back to third after the fuel stop. I caught back up to second, passed the BMW for second. Put a decent gap on him.
Lots of action on the track with the number 85 Pro Sport having managed to overtake their car collection rivals. It's not just by being overtaken that you can lose position. A spin will always cause you to lose time on track. But for many, and more often, the problem of losing positions can be found under the bonnet.
We don't know exactly, we are still analyzing the data, but we were struggling a lot with a lot of oversteering. Now it seems solved 50–60% the problem, and we will continue working on this and to have a more stable car.
The team haven't given up hope just yet.
Well, we are a little bit better, and we are on a good pace with Felipe. If we are able to keep this pace all over the race, that could be a good result.
21 hours still to go, and the chances of a good result certainly still there. This is endurance.
Endurance is a very long time of racing, very hard. Hard for the mechanics, hard for the drivers. Let's say it's not the easy part of racing. It's a team spirit, team sport, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
The Circuit of the Americas is a relatively new track, opened in 2012, already has an impressive racing CV, including hosting the Formula One United States Grand Prix since it was opened. This track not just for Formula One cars.
It's a very technical circuit here in Austin. There are many sharp turns, very edgy corners, a lot of blind corners.
Well, it's a great track. It's a Formula One track, of course. Of course, the big downforce cars have put a few bumps into the track, so it makes it a little difficult on our cars in places. But it's a very nice track. It's you know, obviously one of the best tracks in North America.
Yeah, the track is amazing. I mean, this is my first time here. I just watched it in Formula One. I did not expect that it's so bumpy. It's really bumpy, but it's a driver track. Those quick S's, they're really fun to drive. They're so fast. So everything is here, technical, quick corners, slow corners. It's an amazing track, really.
We like this track, obviously, as Americans. It's easier, it's less travel for us, but we also enjoy sharing it with our European friends that we've generated at the series, at the Creventic series. Obviously, we're full-timers in Europe on the tour there, and everyone there is always very gracious of helping us to teach tracks that we have not learned before or we haven't been to before. And so this is fun for us because we get to share our country with our friends from Europe.
Crucial time in the race now, as the leader is trying to put another lap on the second place car, but Ben Keating pushes too hard and spins. It's been a fraught opening for the 40 Brookspeed Porsche, visiting the pit crew rather too many times.
Well, they see losing power. You can't get the full RPM going down the straights. It'll only rev out to about 6.2 instead of the top rev, so we've got no losing power. So it's obviously not getting all the full fuel pressure, so we brought it in to find out what the issue is. We've never had this problem before, but then again, there's always a first for everything.
Drama for the bright yellow SCG Glickenhaus. The Lightspeed number 704, 6th overall, but has a problem.
we lost drive, we lost third gear. You know, we didn't get really any warnings off of telemetry. We saw pressures dropping a little bit, but nothing dramatic, and you know, it failed on us. So the actual cause of it, you know, some internals failed. Why they failed, we don't know yet. We'll have to do diligence at the shop. So
the team have assessed the issue and have decided that repairing the car at the track is just not an option. Ward Sluice raced here last year and was very keen to come back for this year's event.
I did just my first stint in this amazing circuit. I was also here last year. That's the reason I came back, because on the trip back it was always in my mind an amazing track. So here we are. Stint went very good. A little bit slippy, but it's for everybody, I think. I had just a little issue with the inside protector from the brakes. I think with the shockers, he just came down and hit the tire, so I need to have an extra pit stop. That was not previewed, but the guys did awesome work. So, and also out there, it's really amazing. The guys are really looking in the mirrors, slower cars, faster cars. This is endurance, really.
Charles Esplanade is in one of those faster cars. Getting into the car now, Charles Putman.
So actually, we're doing a cycle, Charlie, and Joe, and now we're repeating that again, Charles, Charlie, and Joe. Adam hasn't gotten into the car yet. We try to kind of run the best we can just on the three of us, and then we'll add him in as we start getting a little bit fatigued.
The strategies have been really mixed up, and just looking at the current standings doesn't really give a true understanding of how the race will turn out. More problems for the 58, and it needs to be pushed by their crew.
Well, just the engine started struggling up here, and I couldn't pass the gears. I have no idea what it is. There's still fuel, not like yesterday, and everything is okay. I mean, I have no idea what it is. Just wait for the technicians to tell me what.
That looks like a petrol issue after all. The car pushed to the fuel station.
It shows 89 liters consumed, and we have 120 in. It should be largely enough.
Gustav Edelhoff is in the car collection 34, 6th overall, enjoying battling on the track, but his stint doesn't end as expected.
Yeah, it was a nice battle and everything was running well. I have only to do another 2 rounds to the next driver change, and then we have had a small accident, a misunderstanding in the corner with a slower car. And he have only Thorn 3 and I was 4, and then we touched together. It was not a very hard touch, but on the small car there was no damage. On our car they broke the steering. So we have to go to the pit box and change this part, and it takes us 12 rounds. So we fall back from place 6 to 12.
This is endurance racing in all its glory. A true endurance test for the machines. It's a test of endurance for the drivers too. You have to keep your concentration for every single second of your lap.
I had a little bit of a scare, yeah, it was just so stupid. So my foot slipped off the brake onto the accelerator where my left foot brake. And that's all that did it, just for that split second. I was upset for the boys. I thought, that's it, our day's over. And then, but I walked round to the side and I looked at it. I was like, oh, this car's got a chance. So, and the boys 20 minutes later, amazing. So it's pretty tough. Yeah, no doubt about these Aston Martins. They're a good car.
7 hours has been completed. There have been a lot of change in the standings. Let's have a look at the positions as the darkness begins to fall here in Travis County, Texas. The overall top 3 are dominated by A6 Pro cars. Black Falcon's number 2, now with a firm 2-lap lead. The Herbert Motorsport 911 is second. The second Black Falcon car, the number 3, is in third. The whole top 5 are German entries. Just the one German team in GT4, but that's leading the class. Windward Racing HTP has a 5-lap advantage over the RHC Jorgensen Strom number 12. The number 14 from Rentec Motorsport in third position. In SP2, GR Motorsport with the number 114 lead, comfortably 9 laps ahead of their nearest competitor. Now that's the ill-stricken VDS number 58, still in second though, and they've got 3 laps over Speed Lovers number 78 Porsche in third. Fantastic racing weather for a November day in Texas, but the forecast for tomorrow, not as good.
Yeah, it looks like it should be rain a little bit. Normally it's not bad for the Porsche, so we will see. In the dry we are about 1 second off the pace of Mercedes, so maybe it's different in the rain.
Well, we're prepared for rain because we know that the forecasts are usually correct in spite of what we say all the time. So we're prepared. If it does rain, we have rain tires ready to go.
Yeah, well, the weather could be could play some interesting role tomorrow as there's some rain expected, but we just take it as it comes. The car should work fine in rain as well, so yeah, we give it, of course, a big shot tomorrow as well.
I come from Belgium, the other guys come from Belgium, so we have kind of experience to drive in the water, in the rain. So, and even when rain, it's for everybody, so we will see. We just try to keep the pace and try to see as far we can get tomorrow.
Today, though, still a couple of hours to go in great weather conditions, but not everybody up to race speed. The 239 Ginetta is stranded.
Something was broken in the diff, and we have to take it away and make everything. Yeah, we could drive with the car. It was broken, so we have to have a truck to get us into the garage, and we have to fix it here inside here.
The 890 Mercedes has found other ways to lose a position. Keep an eye on the tyre on the right-hand side of the car.
They had the tire out there, and I was looking. Our pit box is dark. We're going to get some light on it, and I didn't see the tire. I was looking at the tire man with a light on his head, not looking at the lollipop, and I didn't see the tire. I just hit it, and I got a penalty, as usual. So stuff happens. So we're going to fix that. We're going to get lights over our pit box so we can see.
Son Chapman takes over the car, but has a fire at the left-hand side near the fuel tank.
Yeah, so I got in, and as soon as I got in, I started seeing fire shooting out of the car. I knew it was happening. I knew that it was sloshing out. It must have been the cap wasn't on.
The team does a quick inspection, reseals the fuel cap, and Chapman is back on his way. Still leading the race, the number 2 Black Falcon Mercedes. It becomes the first car to complete 200 laps. Problems for the Pro Sport number 85 as it's showering sparks, and there's some flame there too.
Yeah, so I think what we found was one of the grills just before the exhaust had some contact or something's hit it, whether it's a ball of rubber or something. And it was just getting hot on the exhaust and just starting to spark a little bit, but it's not a problem.
As the 7th hour of the race ticked over, the number 239 Ginetta had to go back to the garage for attention. The car now rejoining the race after quite a long time in the pits.
About 2.5 hours, something like that. So the car is okay now, it's drive like it should, and we have we have about 2 hours left today now, and everything is okay with the car.
Drama on track but off camera as the race leader has had an accident and has to be pushed back into its garage.
Well, I was about 5-6 meters behind him. I wanted to pass him after the next corner. And in the right turn, I just lift, I don't brake, and he was really braking hard. But I was too close, and then I was braking too, but it was too late, and then I really hit him on the back.
And I didn't really know what happened. I was braking at a normal braking point there in the S's and got hit from behind. I understood later that it was the number 2 car, and the driver had made a mistake and misjudged what was going on and ran into me. He certainly, leading the race, he wouldn't do that on purpose either, so it's just this unfortunate occurrence for both of us, but that's racing and it happens.
It's the end of the race for the car that was leading.
You want to win this race, you are quick, you are able to win, car is working perfectly, the team is doing a good job, and then the driver who always tells all the other drivers not to crash is crashing.
Number 60 dealing with power issues on the track, and the BMW 114 has to come in as well. Baz Schouten just got into the car 7 minutes ago.
After 2 laps, my gearbox broke and I heard a lot of sound in the car, and the car was not going forward. So yeah, I don't know. I hope they can fix it. I don't think we drive today, but I hope we drive tomorrow again.
Another team battling to fix their car, Winwood Racing.
During the last pit stop, we've noticed we've got a small oil leak on one of the pipes that goes on the motor, on the pressure side. brought it in. We're busy doing that. We were trying to delay some service until tomorrow, so we've taken the opportunity to fix the problem we've got and do some brake pad changes and rotor changes at the same time.
Herbeth Motorsport decide not to relinquish their lead in the last minute of this first part of the 24 hours. At 11 o'clock in the evening, the flag comes down and it's the Porsche number 911 who sees it first.
Finished first now with one lap in the lead, so couldn't be better today. Car is in perfect condition so far, so really happy.
And so ends the first day of racing here at COTA.
You know, I was really happy. I had a super time. Unfortunately, we had a few problems with the car. We led for probably 7 hours and then we had an oil leak which put us back a bit. But tomorrow's another day, so I really look forward to it.
Tomorrow at 8 the race starts tomorrow. So we put them in the position now they can cover up the car. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock the pit lane opens for the car who are in the pit lane, and then we start with the normal starting procedure.
The grid tomorrow is determined by the finishing positions at the end of the first day. This is endurance.
If it would be only a short distance race, then it's not fun for us. It's a big group of people which join together, which plan the race, the mechanics, the guys at the gas station. Everybody has to, you know, work very close together, even the cook, so that everybody is happy. And that's what is endurance racing for us.
Sunday morning in Austin, Texas. A little rain fell earlier this morning, but it's clearing up now. Each month here at COTA, the track organises a cars and coffee event, and today their visitors are getting an extra boost to their automotive fix as they'll be witnessing the start of the second part of the Hankook 24 Hours of COTA.
We're now on the start grid of the second part of the Hankook 24 Hours COTA USA 2018. The cars have been resting in Parc Fermé overnight, and we're now ready for the second 11.5 hours of the race. Due to the weather conditions, the race direction has allowed the cars to change from slicks to wet tires. It's a safety issue after all. We're starting on a wet track this morning, so everyone was allowed to change from slicks to wet tires. The forecasts are quite diverse, so I think we're having an exciting second part of the race ahead.
What do the teams expect in this second part?
Yeah, we just got to stay out of trouble. We're half an hour ahead of our AM schedule, which is great. So we're at the halfway point for the race, and we've just got to push. We've got to try and win this thing, and that will give us the best opportunity to win the championship.
We had a really good day yesterday. Unfortunately, our other competitor had a couple laps down with an issue, so we took advantage of that, and we're sitting pretty good right now. Hopefully, we can keep it.
Of course, this is a 24-hour endurance race, and that means fortunes can change, as Speed Lover found out yesterday.
So we had a drive shaft issue about 10 minutes into the race, 26 minutes in the pits. We're dead last, fought back. We're starting first in SP2 today. Long race, so a couple of other cars had some issues. We had a couple of quick drivers that got us back on the lead lap, and then we put a few laps into the lead. Still a long race, so let's see what happens. But the team's doing very well, and we're very happy with the car.
The cars are out on the circuit. The GT car's doing 2 laps, but the red horse number 239 doesn't reach that second lap. Tommy Lagerson has gone back into the pits. For now then, that's one fewer car that will restart the Hankook 24 Hours of COTA. Once again, the Stars and Stripes unleashes the field as they head uphill to the first left-hander on the circuit. Ample width of the track here, that even with 4 cars side by side, still enough room to manoeuvre. You can clearly see the spray on various parts of the track, with the Porsche 911 still in the lead after the first few corners. Black Falcon, number 3, second place, and in the rear view mirror of the Porsche.
After a couple of laps, finding out my lines on the circuit, because it's actually the first time driving here, but also in the wet, obviously, as for a lot of other people. But you know, you always have to find the grip levels, and we're doing really well, so we can't complain.
Already a fabulous battle between first and second, although of course on the timing screen there's a lap between those 2 cars. But the Porsche 911 still has a lot to fight for, even though it's got that lap lead. They're going to have to come in for a 2-minute stop. Not because the team have done anything wrong, it's a balance of performance measure to give all the cars a fair chance of victory.
We get 2 minutes penalty because our refueling time is shorter as the Mercedes refueling time, for example, because we are able to refuel 95 liter, the Mercedes has to refuel 110 or 15 liter. So for sure, it costs some time for them, and that's the penalty we got now.
For now, the team is holding off the number 3 Mercedes, racing right on the limit. SPS number 24 following closely, but finding out the track is still a little too wet. And the situation at the top of the field would change too.
So after a couple of laps, I managed to overtake the 911 who was ahead of us, and basically unlap ourselves. So we were back on the same lap. And then there was a code 60 and we went into the box. But just as we went in, it was the end of code 60. So from that point of view, it wasn't the best. But I mean, we didn't lose anything. We changed to slicks, and that was quite tricky because then when I went out, the track was still quite wet. So especially the first laps were a lot of sliding and trying to keep the car on track and not lose too much time.
The number 239 Janetta lost time well before the start, but it's ready to race now.
There was a broken uprights in the left side, in the right side of the car. We have some small crash in the last lap yesterday, and we have to fix it today as soon as possible. We were not able to run the car today, so we put it into the pit and fix it in the morning today.
Lance Bergstein putting a couple of spins to his name.
Yeah, he spun a few times. It was because of the wet track. It was all wet, and he tried to get quicker with the slicks, so we spun 2 times. I think at that moment he hurt the clutch.
Just 15 minutes of racing today, and the Brookspeed number 40 Porsche back into the pits.
Well, we've been doing a very elaborate diagnostic process, trying to sort out an engine misfire issue and a problem with power. It seems to be an essentially unique problem. The Brookspeed folks, who are a very experienced Porsche preparer, have never seen this issue. I've talked to Porsche Motorsports North America personnel. They've never seen the issue. So it's electronic or mechanical gremlin. We just haven't identified it yet. But again, we never give up. So we'll see if we can figure it out.
Rentek number 890 battling for the lead in the GT category.
It was good. It got a little tough at the end. We had a little drizzle here, a little drizzle there, tire degradation, so conditions are changing back and forth. And I was in a battle with the other car for the lead, so at the end I was fighting to kind of keep it on track because the tires were gone. It was fun though.
The slowest car on the track for now, the number 78 Porsche from Speed Lover. As the 78 is brought back to the pits, here's the standings after 15 hours. The 911 Herbeth Motorsport Porsche still ahead with a lap over the number 3 Black Falcon Mercedes, as the 3rd and 4th positions have swapped, with the Pro Sport number 85 now in that 3rd position, 53 seconds ahead of the SPS number 24 in 4th. In GT4, the top 3 are 10th, 11th and 12th overall, with the Rentek number 890 leading from the classic BMW number 272, RHE Jorgensen Strom, the 113 car, 3rd. Back to the A6 Pro class, it's the number 911 from Herbeth and the number 3 from Black Falcon, 1st and 2nd. Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus, the SCG 003C, the number 49, is in 3rd position. 24-hour series races are covered in TV highlight shows like this one, but are also broadcast live to a global audience.
Yes, the broadcast. We have a big fan club in Germany which are watching us on this broadcast. I think we have around 200, 300 people which are sitting 24 hours for their laptops.
The free live stream's not only followed by fans at home, but also by the competitors here at the track.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It gives us an insight. Like last night when we had the rubber in the wheel, we saw the stuff looked like our car was on fire. So we could stand up, had fire extinguisher ready, new tires, all kinds of stuff. They started getting body work off the other car. So yeah, obviously it's a big advantage to be able to do it, and then it's entertaining. You know, we get to see what everybody else is doing, get maybe a little insight on somebody else's strategy. So yeah, it helps a lot.
The pictures are produced by 022 Media and have live commentary from Radio Show Limited. The concept of what Radio Show Limited does is to take motorsport to a global audience. We are, if you like, a community radio station, but the community isn't geographical, it's interest-based. So The world is our community. Everybody who's got internet is our potential listeners and viewers. Radio Show Limited are delighted to be involved with the Creventic organised series. From the very first Dubai 24 hours going back to 2006, it became obvious that something different was happening with the way Creventic went about their motor racing. We got together, spoke to the Creventic organisers, brought in some commercial partners and started providing some live coverage of the early years of the Dubai 24-hour races. RSL cover all of the big endurance races around the world and have a full crew here in COTA. We're very fortunate that we've got some very talented people this weekend. Shea Adam, who's one of our IMSA radio crew. Bruce Jones has rejoined us, he's a regular member. And two of the more Creventic regulars who do almost all of the Creventic races through the air for the Hankook 24-hour series would be infamous Nick Damon, particularly for his grid walks, and Joe Bradley, another one of our commentators who's equally at home in the pits as he is in the booth.
I love Creventic. You know, we cover series, we cover for everything from the World Endurance Championship, we cover the Le Mans 24 hours, but give me a Creventic 24-hour series race. And I think it's the diversity of the field that we see. I've always had this saying, you know, it's like 4 guys and a picnic table and a toolbox and a Renault Clio to professional GT3 teams. You can come along with your car and compete on the same track and the same race as professional drivers and professional teams.
It's one word, it's friendly. And when it's friendly, you all feel part of a team. And because you all feel part of a team, you get really great information, we get really great access. All the teams want us to be here, they want to tell us their stories, they want to be part of the event, and that's the great thing about it.
Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus driving to the max to try and catch the race leaders. Currently 9 laps down to the competitors, but have 9 hours to make up that time. There's been plenty of hair-raising action on this Austin track.
The right rear was stuck on the hub. The mechanic couldn't get it out, so we thought it was an issue with the suspension. So we wiggle tested it to make sure that the tie rod and the upper control arms were okay. And then we found out it was just stuck on the hub. So then we had to literally kick it off to break it loose. It was just a matter of heat and how long the tires were on the car for.
Another worrying moment for the car collection number 34 as it finds itself stranded in the middle of the circuit.
A little problem, the fuse of the fuel pump was obviously gone or whatever, so I couldn't fix it, so we had to be towed back into the pit.
So close to disaster. Darren Jorgensen in the 113 BMW just misses the back of the number 34 as he slides into the barriers.
Yeah, that can happen, of course. It's racing, and so sometimes you need some luck.
The 620 Aston Martin needs pit crew assistance as the windscreen has come loose. The team quickly supplies Florian Kamelger with a new windscreen. Other repairs, though, meant the car lost 40 minutes in the pit lane. The number 60 Lamera Cup car has been battling its issues.
Normally car 60 is in SP2 class, but we had an engine problem during the night, so now we are running a SP3 engine configuration, so it's quite slower than it should be. And we also have some, drive shafts problem because the curbs here are quite aggressive, and when the drivers go over the curbs, sometimes the drive shafts are not too happy.
Leading the class by 3 laps, the 114 BMW from JR Motorsport. Stranded on the main straight.
Yeah, my teammate Ted was stopped there with a broken drive shaft. They changed it and now we're driving. I think the track is very bumpy and very hard for the car, so yeah, I think that is the reason why it's broken.
There are battles for class podium positions at every turn. Different tactics, pit stop strategies means that some of these battles will only become clear in the last few laps of the race. The number 91 in again, a steaming engine, and the pit crew goes straight back in to tackle it. A TCE entrant finds out that his car drives better with all 4 wheels attached, and this brings out a code 60. The race-leading number 911 immediately comes in to take that balance of performance penalty that they still had pending. During the code 60, the number 91 Porsche found itself stranded once again. This time, the team made the decision that they wouldn't repair the car.
Unfortunately, no. We had a couple of small issues. One of them turned into a bigger issue. The car was running really well. I mean, We were only really racing against JDX, but we had a 3-lap lead on them at one point.
Earlier, it looked like a radiator leak that could be solved, but the team now expect the damage to be worse than that.
We'd already gone too high on the engine temp, and it wasn't worth going anymore because we'd already probably damaged the engine. We just didn't want to damage it anymore. I think we'll definitely try to get back to this race next year if we don't do anything else.
Just about 5 hours of racing to go in this 24 hours of COTA USA, and the series organisers Creventic very pleased with the race so far.
The race has been very exciting today, and you can see many tactical diversities within the field. Some cars unfortunately had to retire today after difficulties, but we've seen many lead changes in all of the classes. We expect the battle, especially for the overall GT lead, to continue.
This is endurance.
It's our first time doing one of these events, and we weren't sure what to expect, but it turned out to be very enjoyable. I mean, it's not as tense as some championships, but in the same respect, you're racing, and it's good racing, so it's very enjoyable.
Additional support for this race comes from the Gulf Company, the official fuel sponsor for this event.
We've been calling Creventic to be a part of this series since it first came to the United States, because we cannot find many series that race for 24 hours. Again, with Gulf's racing history in endurance racing, we wanted to be a part of this series from the very beginning. When we were able to get with Creventic and sign the agreement to supply all the racing fuel here, the whole company was very excited, and we brought out some of our champions to the racetrack to meet with some of the drivers here. It's been a very exciting weekend for all the family at Gulf Racing Fuels.
One of the drivers that Gulf have invited to this event is Brianne Korn.
I'm here because this is one of the great races of the year. I came last year and I'm out here again this year. I mean, this is the real deal. These are the grown-ups playing here, and this is real professional racing on a world level, and it's right in my own backyard.
24-hour endurance very different from the races in which Brianne normally competes.
No, the diversity of cars, I think that makes all the difference in the world. I mean, you get opportunities in passing and other strategic racing that you don't get if you just have the same class of car running all the time.
Any drivers on the podium at the end of this race will certainly remember Gulf's involvement in the COTA 24 hours.
Not only is Gulf here to supply the racing fuel, but we've got an extra special gift for all the podium finishers today. From Superstrada, the designer, we brought them Gulf cufflinks that are from the winning number 20 for the Gulf Le Mans series way back in the 60s. So it's an extra special gift for the drivers today.
And when the finish flag drops, Gulf will work hard to continue its involvement.
We would love to be a part of this race going forward, and I'm hopeful that Creventic 24-hour series will invite us back to the racetrack for next year and the years beyond. We really want to be a part of this racing series.
Before any of those prizes are handed out, there are still 5 more hours of racing to go. Currently leading in the Hankook 24 hours of COTA, the number 3 Black Falcon Mercedes, who took the lead when the 911 Porsche served their BOP time in the pits. Just a few hours left in the race. There will be more issues for some teams, but those who have gone without problems so far are having a great race and often see themselves leading their class.
It's fantastic. The balance is really good, and the car is held in one piece the whole event. We raced this event last year and won the Cup 1 class, so back with an M4 to try to defend our win today. Running first now, and second place is coming fast, but we think we'll hold on to it.
The mechanics in the 85 Pro Sport pit now working on the brakes, but what we are more concerned with is a fire on the bodywork.
There's just a small screen right behind the front wheel in front of the exhaust. We damaged that screen last night. A piece of pickup rubber broke it, so rubber can get directly onto the exhaust. Not a big deal to just burn off.
A few splashes of water have put the flames out, and as soon as the brakes were replaced, the car is back in the race. The Lamera number 60 once again gets attention from their pit crew, but there's no way that they'll throw in the towel, just like the VDS team. Their car has lost a bolt and damaged the wheel arch.
Yeah, we have lost three times the wheel,
and we don't know yet why yet, but we will investigate and hopefully we will find the problem for solving the problem for the race to Dubai.
Second overall and fighting for the lead, the number 911.
We struggled a bit with one pit stop. I don't know, it was something wrong with the wheel gun, but I don't know why, what happened there. So, yeah, but we fixed it now. We changed the wheel gun. Yeah, now it's working again. I think now we are safe. We have 4 laps gap on the car behind us, and 3 laps we are behind the Mercedes. So now we are running the time without pressure, without anything. So try to stay on track for the last 2 hours, and yeah, hopefully finishing second.
The number 911 and the 113 are trying to share the same part of the track. It's going to get harder for all the drivers. 1 or 2 spots of rain appearing. Another change of tactics on the cards, and so close to the finishing flag.
All 24-hour races are hard, and there's always drama at the end.
Team Black Falcon had their drama, but also their success.
Yeah, was upset that the number 2 car crashed out, but the fight goes on with car number 3 in P1 at the moment, with 2.5 hours to go, so fingers crossed.
The number 60 is stuck on track again, as we asked Peter Limhurst of the 620 Aston Martin team what drove his decision to race in this event.
Those guys have put a really good series together, so I've known them for nearly since they started. So, and I had a very good year in 2015 with them, so I did every one. So, and I've sort of talked these boys into doing a few of these events, and I'd like to do a full series with them again. So excellent people to deal with.
So how do his team members rate this race?
I think all those guys like the series too. So I think they like how it's all run. So and all of that. So we'll see what happens next year. They're in a few other different things next year, so they're a busy lot. Very, very professional. So fantastic guys.
Wilfred Marafina is pushing his smoking Lamar into the pit lane, flagging down the safety vehicle to get an extinguisher handed through the fence.
Yes, so we had to get, actually the driver went out and the marshal handed him an extinguisher so he could put out the fire by himself and then push the car trying to get back into the pits. Obviously it was much faster with the tow truck, but we try to never give up. So if the driver can help, the driver helps. So we are fixing our drive shaft, our numerous drive shaft. One drive shaft broke and the grease inside the drive shaft went out and it was touching the turbo, which is just above. So that was, it's quite spectacular, but it's never that bad in the end.
The number 911 Porsche now right with the race leader.
Now the Mercedes are much more faster than our car, and we lose more than 1.5 seconds each round.
5 minutes to go and the leader completes the 600th lap of the race. The number 60 rejoins the race to take the checkered flag. The A6 AM leader is in the fuel station. This allows the number 24 SPS to get back on the A6 AM class leader's lap. The 85 Pro Sport just able to get back on track in time, and as a result will claim the series championship. Meanwhile, the overall race leader is slow on the track. If the car is out of fuel, the Porsche 911 could still take the win. But it's not a fuel issue after all, and Scott Heggett is trying to finish at exactly the end of the 24-hour. He's just a few seconds early, and he doesn't get the checkered flag. He gets a final lap sign instead. There's still a lap to go for the race leader. The team think they've won the race. The 911 has closed in, but the number 3 Mercedes accelerates away again, and in a lap's time will take that checkered flag. This is endurance racing, exciting right up to the final seconds of the race.
What an awesome result. These guys are awesome. All their stints were great, and the team, fought through some of the issues we had, and it was perfect.
The 911 car so close to the leader. That wasn't their goal in that last stint.
Last stint was to bring the car home. Yeah, and so Robert did the second last, and it was me to do the last one today. And so I say thank you to the team once again.
Third overall, A6 AM winner, and the team title in the Championship of the Continents goes to the 85 Pro Sport team.
Yeah, no, it's been a great season, and yeah, obviously the race sort of went to plan. We had a clean second half. Obviously, we had a little bit of trouble towards the end of the first half of the race yesterday. but yeah, we pulled it together, and I believe we've won the championship, so super happy.
A fantastic conclusion to this year's Championship of the Continents.
There was a lot of battle going on in any of the classes, several lead changes for the overall lead, for class leads, and it was exciting up until the very last second. We are happy to have a cap on the 2018 season. This was a race that very well deserved to be the final race of our championship, and we're looking forward to our next season coming up in only a few months.
Top step of the podium for Black Falcon number 3. They held their lap lead over the 911 from Herbert Motorsport. Third on the podium, the 85 Pro Sport Performance Squad with the Americans Putman, Esplanade and Foster with their teammate Adam Christodoulou. And a rundown of the classes. In A6 Pro, the number 3 Black Falcon take the win from the 911 of Herbert, and a great result for the number 49 from Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus. In A6 AM, the winners were Pro Sport Performance, over second place the number 24 from SPS, third the 34 from Car Collection Motorsport. 991 class won by the 74 from JDX Racing, with Wright Motorsport and their number 91 Porsche in second. It's the classic BMW number 272 that wins the GT4 class, Rentec 890 second by a lap, and the RHC team, the number 13 car, is third. And finally in SP2, the number 58 from VDS Racing Adventures claims victory, the 114 from JR Motorsport is second, and the Speed Lover number 78 is third.
On behalf of Creventic, we would like to thank all the volunteers, the officials that make these events possible together with us. Also our sponsors, first of all Hankook, and everyone who is involved in making these events happen. After all, a team does not only consist out of the drivers as well. All the mechanics are here voluntarily making this happen for the teams, and we can't be more thankful for all the people choosing to do this together with us. So, thank you.
The Circuit of the Americas have given us a brilliant weekend of racing, and we're already looking forward to the 2019 season. It will start early in January in Dubai, followed by races at Portimao and Barcelona before we return here to Texas in November 2019. In the European leg, additional 12-hour races at Mugello, Spa and Brno, and on top of that, a Middle East Championship as well. For all the information, go to www.24hgtseries.com.